what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Ridgestead. This is our week 1 update for our Cornish Cross meat birds. So far, everything has been going awesome. Had one little casualty on day 2, which seems to be possibly suffocation from the other birds. All the birds, when they're chicks, they like to huddle underneath these heat plates, and I think one of them just couldn't get out. But I'm not entirely sure what happened because none of the other birds have gotten sick or anything like that. And that morning I checked on all the birds and it seemed to be great. And then later that afternoon I found one of them dead underneath and kind of trampled. Honestly, they just kind of walk all over each other. It's pretty morbid, but that's kind of how it goes, especially with when you have 30 birds in your brooder. So once you hit that 1 week mark, we switched out our waterer to a bigger one, as you can see, compared to our little blue one that we had. They were just going to town and draining this blue one almost by late morning after I refill it in the morning after waking them up. And then now, just being 3 days after that 1 week mark, because yes, this is Sunday and I got the birds on a Wednesday, so we are a little bit late on this video, but that's fine. It's the same routine as we would be for week 1. But we went with the bigger waterer, and even now these guys drain this water 3 times a day and you have to keep up with it. So if you aren't home all day and able to keep up with the water and feed water, you need to make sure that you have enough water throughout the day then for when you're not home. But if you are home throughout the day and you can check on them, you can just fill it up here and there. But yeah, definitely have a setup for if you're not home all day, so these birds can have water throughout the whole entire day. For feed, we switched to 12 hours on, 12 hours off once they hit that 1 week mark. So you can see they actually don't have food in here because it is after 7 o'clock and I have them from 7 to 7 right now. They're currently on a 22% protein diet, and then once I hit week 3, I'll be switching them over to an 18% protein diet. As you can tell, these birds are completely different from day 1 when you get them. They have their flight feathers, they have their combs growing in, they're completely mobile, running around, they roost on top of the heating plates and everything, and within a week they'll probably end up trying to jump out and whatnot, so the cover will be going on. But yeah, these birds are completely different, and it's almost, you can see them growing overnight. You'll come out and go, wow, these birds look completely different. So yeah, with the food, we also upgraded from that little blue trough we were using to one of these big red ones. One of these big red ones. And they go through this probably about 4 times a day if they're really, really hungry. So like I said before, you better have a setup where you can have them fed all day if you aren't home. Otherwise, if you can check on them throughout the day, just fill it up as you go, and they will definitely tear it apart, and you'll be really surprised on how much food these guys can really put down. With all them eating and drinking, that also means their waste. So I just put in new bedding for the 2nd time this week. So this will be the 3rd time putting in bedding from when I installed the brooder originally. It starts to stink. That 1 week mark, you definitely start smelling everything, and if you don't have it in the garage, you will start to smell it inside your house. So take that into consideration when you're setting up a brooder, because we had our whole entire basement smell for months, even after our chicks were out of there, and it was awful. Dust everywhere, smell everywhere, and I do not recommend it, but do what you gotta do. If it doesn't bother you, have at it. We'll keep it in the garage. So with them also growing, they get taller, so you will have to raise your heat source. If you're using heat lamps, you might have to raise them a bit because you want to actually drop the temperature about 5 to 10 degrees per week. So originally you want your brooder to have an area where they can sit under, like these heating plates, about 90, 95 degrees. I know with these heating plates, it's really about 80, 85, and I kind of get away with that. During the wintertime, I actually have heat plates and a heat lamp just to get all the air around them semi-warm, so it isn't too big of a deal. But then I noticed that there's way more pasty butts. Going back to pasty butts, you can get pasty butts from too cold, too hot, too much humidity, the rare case of them being sick. So basically you just have to have it just right for them not to have pasty butts. But yeah, with them growing, you have to raise these legs up to their height. So if you do have heat plates, basically rule of thumb is if they're standing, kind of put it just above their back or just below, and then they'll kind of duck in and go under, and they'll be sleeping under that just like they would mom. And then for heat lamps, just keep raising them up if you can. In the garage, I hang them from the ceiling, so I'm able to just pull them up and tie it off to a good height where the temperature is in the right area where I want it to be. So right now at week 1, I'd be around 80 to 85 degrees, which it's summer here in Wisconsin and we're hitting that midday at least every single day, plus humidity. So most of the chicks are on the outside of the heating plates most of the time, except nighttime. To help with that humidity and weather, we like to keep our garage door open at all times. But kind of keeps the smell going, kind of keeps some fresh air going in. If you were to have them in your house or in the basement, they really won't have that, but pros and cons to that. So one thing I like to do is kind of have them on a light schedule also. When I get up in the morning, before I even feed them, I start to turn the lights on in the garage. I'll open the garage door, usually around dusk. When I get up and the other chickens outside start to roam around, I kind of wake them up and kind of get them on a routine. And then same for nighttime. So basically when I'm done with this video, I'll end up closing the garage door, I'll start turning off the lights and kind of put them to bed. And then it seems to help them a lot because with the camera here I can see, and they'll definitely sleep throughout the whole entire night. I'll see them moving around a few times, getting water and whatnot, but they definitely get to go on a schedule and they definitely know when it's feed time in the morning. One tip, right now it's not too bad because they're little, but once they get bigger, it's gonna start to hurt. Make sure you're able to put their feet in there at least kind of safe, because they will start trying to fly, scratch, jump all over one another to get to the feed, and your hand's gonna get caught in there, and they will definitely scratch up your whole entire hand and everything if you're not fast enough. So keep that in mind, or have maybe 2 different feeders to swap out real quick. Just a thought, so keep that in mind. But that's about it for week 1. They're doing pretty well. They're trying to dust. They are definitely scratching around like normal chicken would, and pretty easy still. It's just when they get a little bit bigger and it gets more crowded in here that it becomes more of a problem, where you really want to get them outside, which I might be able to get them out earlier with it being nice weather, but if it's springtime and it's cold, you're gonna be stuck in here with 30 birds in a brooder. So yeah, definitely think of brooder size and the amount of chickens you're thinking of. You don't want to get a little small 2-foot by 4-foot brooder and try to slap 30 birds in it. It's not gonna work out too well. You could do it for maybe like that first like couple days with them being babies, but like you can see they've tripled in size from week 1. But yeah, that's about it for week 1. Appreciate you for watching. Go down below, like and subscribe, and keep an eye out for our week 2 update and our further updates. So yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.